I read your book. I loved it.
Thank you.
Straight Shooter came out. It really dives into who you are as a person, kind of where you, or what you went through to really get to where you are today. So why all of a sudden did you want to write it now in this part of your life?
I guess it was time. It's a long time coming. Many people had been imploring me to write a book. They were talking about, look at all that you've accomplished. You've done everything but that. It was cathartic in certain respects. Didn't know it would be that way. But I had gotten to a point where I knew it was time, because there's so many things that people have to say about me. There's so much speculation. And the opportunity to put my words, pen to paper, to write a book, to be an author, to be somebody that, tries to inspire and to motivate and to really illuminate the fact that there are things that I've overcome in my life that a lot of people are enduring, have endured. If I can do it, you can do it. And I hearken back to something that I said years ago that went viral. I brought up Jay-Z, I brought up Kobe Bryant, I brought up Shaquille O'Neal and people like that. Kobe, God rest his soul. And I was like, they're not the American dream. They're the American fantasy come reality. I'm the American dream. And what I meant by that was that you can be me. You don't have a chance of pulling off being them. That's a 1 in a billion shot. But you can get left back. You can have a reading disability. You can, have trials and tribulations in your home and beyond. And you can fight, you can scratch, and you can claw, and with hard work, you can make something of yourself. And I thought that this book was the one opportunity where it wasn't in pockets of interviews and things of that nature. Right here, here it is, this is the story. You could hold on to this and it could lead to good things happening for you.
I will say I love, as even a media member, how honest you were about how easy it is to put this persona on TV, and it's not as easy to turn that switch on and off until you're really sure of who you are as a person, and you get ingrained in it. And it's kind of like professional wrestling, where you got to put this persona on TV, and then when the cameras turn off, you're still left with yourself.
Yeah.
So for those who haven't read the book, how much of the Stephen A. Smith we see on TV is really you versus how much gets played up for?
Well, what I will say to you is that there's nothing about me that's fake, for better or worse. I'm always me. I'm just not a one-dimensional person. If you spent 24 hours with me, you'd see me loud, bombastic, and demonstrative as always. Then you'd see me quiet. You'd see me melancholy. You'd see me exuberant. You'd see me relaxed. You'd see me gung-ho. This is all in a span of 24 hours. I mean, I'm not somebody that fakes or pretends to be anything, because to me, I've always believed phoniness, fakeness, whatever the case may be, is not sustainable. The true you is going to be revealed. So why hide it? As long as you're yourself, no one shows all of who they are to everyone every single time they interact with people. There are things right now, you're interviewing me, you're probing, you're asking questions, you're leaving the talking to me. You get around somebody else, you'll do the talking. You'll laugh and you'll smile now. Tonight, somebody's gonna get on your last nerve. I mean, there's a whole bunch of things that come with us being human beings, being who we are. And so for me, writing a book, my memoir, no one tells every single minute detail about their life. I don't have time to do that. But what you do reveal, you make sure is real and is authentic and is as telling about you as it can possibly be.
I do want to talk a little bit about your place in the sports media a little
Sure.
bit. And I want to bring up a quote that I read in your book. A coach said this to you. He said,
Sure.
"You're not in the business to be liked, you're in the business to be respected. Honesty, integrity, and fairness is what gets you respect."
Oh, Chiselwich. Yeah.
And I feel like based on your body of work, it seems like that's something you really do still live by.
Absolutely. I don't want to be hated. Who wants that? But I'm not here to be liked. I sleep well at night. Not last night, obviously, traveling from LA, but I sleep well at night. And what I would tell you is that I sleep well at night because I believe in my humanity. I know I don't wish harm on other people. I know I don't wish misery or negativity on other people. I know that. And so knowing that and knowing that I go about the business of doing my job every day with a sense of humanity, a sense of decency, and thoroughness and fairness, that's what I owe the subjects that I cover, nothing else. And so for me, that's the mentality that coach taught me, that Coach Gaines taught me, that various other people in life taught me. You know what you sign up for. And in the field of journalism, that's what it's about. If you're there to be liked, you won't be an effective journalist because the truth hurts sometimes and it leads to dislike. And if that dislike is what affects you, then it will influence your judgment. If it influences your judgment, it's going to influence the quality of your work. If it influences the quality of your work, then it compromises it and cheats the reader, the listener, the viewer that you're trying to disseminate a message to, which means you're not being all that you're supposed to be for them, and you're screwing them over. And that's not something that I do. So my approach is entirely different in that regard. I accept it, I understand it, and I'm a big boy. I can handle what comes with it.
So you have become like the unofficial Cowboys voice of the people for them. So I want to know where that disdain for the Cowboys came from for you.
Well, they just annoyed. Listen, I would say, I could say it's an ex-girlfriend that was a Cowboys fan when I was in high school. I could say it's family members that get on my last nerves. I could say every time I'm traveling the country, there's a Cowboy fan that I run into that's disgusting and nauseating and makes me sick. I could say that they don't take any chance, they don't take any time as Cowboy fans whatsoever to smell their own stench. The fact that they haven't won a Super Bowl for the last 27 years but walk around every year like they the champions. I could say all of these things and compartmentalize it and pick one of them. The fact is, it's all of them. It's all of it, okay? Listen, the sad part is I have nothing against the Cowboys. Jerry Jones, I'm a fan, I don't like the recent controversy that he was involved in, but I'm a fan, okay? A lot of the players on there. I mean, I'm friends with Michael Irvin. I'm friends with Troy, Troy Aikman I've known for years. Emmitt Smith, one of the greatest running backs in NFL history. Primetime Deion Sanders, who beat my Pittsburgh Steelers in the Super Bowl wearing a Cowboys uniform. That's my brother. Him and Michael Irvin are brothers to me. We're very tight. I don't have anything against them. I don't have anything against the players. It's them damn fans. They're the worst. I mean, there is nothing worse than a Cowboy fan. And I'll even tip people off to what's in the book. Right there in the book, it says if a nuclear bomb dropped, 3 things would survive: rats, roaches, and a Cowboys fan.
I'm crying.
And I mean it. They are the worst.
The worst.
The worst. I mean, there's nothing worse than a Cowboy fan. And I'm really talking about the people outside of Dallas. I'm not talking about folks. If you in Dallas, if you're in that surrounding area, it makes perfect sense. That's your team. There's nothing wrong with that. But when you in Idaho, when you in California, when you in North Carolina, when you in New Jersey, you in Connecticut, how about them Cowboys? I'm like, don't you have a life? Is there not something that you could come up with? I mean, they just make me sick. I mean, I can't stand them. The fact is, my daughter joked around. My oldest daughter, Samantha, joked around one day. One of her friends at school convinced her to tease me that she was a Cowboys fan. She's not a Cowboy fan. But they convinced her to tease me that she was a Cowboy fan. I put her on punishment for 2 weeks.
I bet that taught her. She's like, I'm not playing around with them Cowboys.
Put on punishment for 2 weeks. I'm not having that. That's not happening. You understand? My daughters, God bless them. Hopefully, they live a long, prosperous life and they meet the man of their dreams and get married. He better not be a Cowboy fan. Not in my house. They won't be.
Requirement.
No, I don't want. Cowboy fans are the worst. They are the worst, because they don't live in the reality. They live in a delusional world they create for themselves that got them believing there's something special, and it's just a damn shame that human beings have to be subjected to Cowboy fans. It really, really is. But I digress.
So your Knicks, as we have this interview right now, they're hovering around 500.
Yeah.
Not that all surprising, but I know you're the biggest James Dolan fan, so I'm curious if you could tell me how you think this is going to turn out for the Knicks this year, if you think he has any chance of turning this
I think the New
around.
York Knicks would be good enough to get to the playoffs, and then they'll go home in the first round. This is what they do, okay? It's not going to change. It's going to be the same old way. All right, I stole that line from Ralph Cramden, The Honeymooners, is when he's talking about his mother-in-law. They're going to be the same old way. That's who they are. And it's with the Knicks, here's my problem. The New York Knicks, it's not their players. It's their organization. It rots from the top down. I'm quite sure, as I've been told, as an African American, there are an abundance of things that James Dolan has done for African Americans. On a very serious note, I appreciate that. On a very serious note, as a Knicks fan, I don't care about that when it comes to him. He gets on my last nerves because somehow, some way, he always finds ways to make headlines for the wrong reasons. Why is this relevant to me? Because I happen to know the modern day athlete cares about that, and that plays a role in whether or not they're attracted to your franchise. When you are so dogged about your reputation and things that go on internally, and you're so protective of that it resembles a prison when you're at the Garden, where, I mean, you got guards coming from everywhere, pushing you out. They want to get you off the court. They want to do all of these other things, right? You're preoccupied with that. Players notice. And so when you have those kind of things and you're constantly distracting yourself with that kind of nonsense, is a problem. But then you go out and you hire a president in Leon Rose, a man I've known for over 20 plus years, who I like and respect. William Wesley is a guy that I've known for over a quarter century. I love him like a brother. We don't talk. We say hi and bye because he's disgusted with me because of what I say about the Knicks, and I'm disgusted with them because of what they do as members of the Knicks. And I say so. Perfect example. I'm a Donovan Mitchell fan. I'm on the radio years ago in New York when Phil Jackson forgot what a legendary Hall of Fame championship coach that he was and came near and contaminated the Knicks franchise, okay? What does he do? I'm screaming about this kid out of Louisville. Phil Jackson drafts Frank Ntilikina. Donovan Mitchell is a star. We won't say where Frank Ntilikina is. We hope Frank treats him well. We'll leave it at that. You look at situations like that and you say, what are you doing? Leon Rose, William Wesley, and those guys come in to New York. You're recruiting players. This is not college. You show up, you're sitting behind the bench with the Utah-Dallas series. You're looking at both Donovan Mitchell and Jalen Brunson, who were playing for Utah and Dallas respectively. Well, it agitated Danny Ainge, who runs the Utah Jazz. So you wasn't getting Donovan Mitchell. And then you got Jalen Brunson. But when no one was willing to give him about more than 50 or 60 million, you gave him 103.
That's great.
So you look at all of these different things and you just say, what are you doing? Yep. And what you find is that somehow, some way, the Knicks will play hard. They'll be competitive. They'll be somewhat respectful. But that's all you can hope for with them. As things change, they stay the same with James Dolan franchise. That is my problem with the New York Knicks. They're actually worse than the Dallas Cowboys. And that's very depressing.
Hey sports fans, if you want to see more conversations with athletes and stars, check out these videos right here and be sure to subscribe for more from USA Today Sports.